Hello, ma'am. Welcome to Love Heals Cancer and Zenonco.io. I'm Justina from Zenonco. This is our cancer healing journey talks where we invite speakers who have gone through cancer, maybe as a patient, caregiver, or survivor. These cancer healing journeys are very close to heart because many patients tell us that when they listen to other people's journey, it inspires them. It helps them to boost their confidence and gives them hope that if others have been able to successfully beat the disease, why can't we? So, thank you so much for joining us for today's CHA talk. So, could you please introduce yourself and tell us how it all began?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. My name is Carla. I'm currently 37 years old. I was diagnosed last year when I was just 36. It was quite a journey, I guess, like as quite a surprise being a young person, healthy person. I'm a yoga instructor, I'm a vegan chef, and I try to live my life in a very conscious way. So it was quite a shock to learn that I had cancer. But as I keep saying to all the people surrounding me, I do believe this disease is more than just a physical approach that everybody is dealing with. So it's last year I did a mix between conventional treatment and also a lot of what most of the people call alternative healing. But for me, I will call it my main kind of healing, the natural way. And I don't know which parts would you like me to cover. It's such a wide journey.
Okay, ma'am. So, to begin with, what were the initial symptoms and how did you get diagnosed?
Okay. Well, in July 2020, like 2 years ago, like I think today, yeah, 2 years ago, was the first time I went to a doctor because I felt a little lump. It was super small and a little bit hard, and I was taking a shower and putting soap into my breast, and I'm like, wait, what's that? And of course I was into a shock. I called immediately my insurance and I got an appointment. I went to the appointment and the radiologist, I don't know if he was just having a bad day or if he didn't sleep, but he went so fast. And he was like, no, it should be a cyst. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yes, of course. And anyway, he told me, you're too young to get cancer. He just told me that and he sent me home. And of course, when the doctor tell you like everything is okay, you just trust that. And I went home, I kept my life. And 8 months later, I could feel that something was, I had this intuition inside myself. And I asked another doctor to run more tests. And I did another echo with another radiologist. And then is when all started. The symptoms, besides feeling that lump, there was nothing else. There's no pain. There's absolutely nothing. There's another maybe kind of cancer that are more towards the surface that you can see some tissue damage, discoloration, inflammation, but mine was ductal. So there's anything besides touching yourself. There's no way you can know that you have cancer. And after that, of course, the radiologist, her face was like, something's happening, but nobody tells you anything. But they urged me, you need to come tomorrow. We need to do further exams, but nobody tells you anything. Then, of course, you go super worried home. Then you go back to the hospital. They run 1,000 tests. Everybody has long faces, but nobody tells you anything until it is time to go and see a doctor and they finally give you the diagnosis.
So, there was any like pre-existing comorbidities or any kind of family history runs?
At all. And in my family that I know, there was nothing. Funny enough, I believe there's not a lot of disclosure regarding this kind of disease. People take cancer as this super big stigma that goes into them, like such a big load, and most of the people don't like to share that. I feel like people are sometimes ashamed of sharing that they have cancer, and they kind of try to go through that stage by hiding their disease. And I realized that my half brother had cancer, skin cancer, when he was in his 20s, and nobody knew about it. And he told me when I told him about my cancer. So when doctors were asking me about pre-existing disease, I was like, no, no one in my family at all. And then I realized that my brother had it. So, but it was, I think it goes through his mom, kind of the family. So in mine, technically, there was nothing at all.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, people hide themselves because lack of uh, awareness, I would say. People just label it as a very dangerous, or some people still thinks that it's contagious. So yeah.
Yeah. It's that's why I decided to share my journey. Also to take this big load out of this word. It's a disease, yes. It's very serious, yes. But I do believe that it's easier to go through it when you are open and when you receive the kind of support to go through it.
Exactly, I agree. So as you said that everyone were like didn't tell you initially, and they were waiting for you to arrive at the hospital. So what was your first reaction when you heard this? And what about your families? Because you said there's no family history.
Yes. Of course, I could see something was happening. I'm a very positive person, so I was trying to tell me all the time, until they don't tell you have cancer, you don't cry about it. Like, you just hold it together. But it's tricky. The anguish that you have, the anxiety, it's just like the thought is there all the time, all the time. So it's very hard to go home and just keep working and keep doing normal life, because like you feel like you're into this super stressful situation where you don't know what's going to happen. And when they finally told me, okay, you have cancer, I kind of felt a little relief that they were actually telling me what was happening. The way they gave me the diagnosis was very badly. Like, one doctor told me, and he told me like, oh, you need to go to see another doctor, and he's gonna give you the first appointment with the oncologist. And he haven't told me you have cancer, but he told me you need to go to the doctor for oncologist. And I'm like, wait, do I have cancer? Do I know? Like, what's going on? And then they just put me in a waiting room for another hour. And then you feel like your life is like, oh my God, do I don't have? So when they finally gave me the news, it was like, okay, now at least I know. And that's the thing. I believe for me, it was, I took it in the best way possible, saying that like, okay, I have cancer. I have to deal with this for now. I need to adjust my life in order to go through this stage. And fortunately, I think I'm in this. I work a lot with alternative healing, so I was like, okay, it's time to like apply everything that I've learned so far. So far, I'm a nutritional coach, so I was like, okay, I have all the tools, so let's put them to practice. And if this is happening, it's for a reason. So right away, I didn't dwell on it. I tried to change the narrative. I tried to own the narrative and to tell myself, this is happening for a reason. Even if I don't see why, because like I'm 36, I have cancer. What? But this is happening for a reason. So I try to change the perspective, to change the narrative, and to own my disease.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty hard to stay positive. I give you that, because the treatment itself is very painful, and the process, yeah, everyone knows it how it is until you actually go through it. So what all treatment did you underwent during that time?
Okay. So by the time they diagnosed me, the little lump that I had detected, it broke. It was already 3 centimeters, and I have another 3 centimeters one in my lymph nodes. So it was already spreading. The biopsy results, basically I had a hormonal type of breast cancer, and it was growing so fast. Like one of the markers were like the speed of growing was very high. So my doctors went on like, oh my God, we need to start chemo tomorrow. But I'm also a premenopausic woman, and I still want to have kids. And then I had a very tough, already starting the very hard decision to like, what do I do? A lot of doctors recommend don't do any hormonal treatments because I have a hormonal type of cancer. And I just went with my gut. And I did 2 rounds of hormonal stimulation to freeze my eggs. And after that hormonal stimulation, I took another month before I started conventional treatment with chemotherapy. I needed to understand what was the message that my body was sending me. As I told at the beginning, I do believe there's more than just physical reasons why you have cancer. And I needed to understand what was the emotional and the energetic side out of behind everything. I went into a lot of therapy. I went into a lot of inner healing. And I finally understand where was that coming? Why was my body manifesting a cancer? And then I was okay to start treatment. I did 4 rounds of AC, or the doctor called it the Red Devil. And yeah, that was tough. And then I was supposed to do 12 rounds of taxans, and I did only 10 at the end. As I mentioned before, I'm a nutritional coach. I'm very, very, very deep into integrative nutrition. And part of that is doing fasting. I started a few years ago, and I think I went and I read all about fasting, cancer, chemotherapy. I just went crazy into all the research, all the essays, and I'm like, okay, now I have the chance to be my own guinea pig. And then I designed my own kind of fastings. I privilege always health. So I was measuring my blood sugar. I was measuring my ketones. I would do regular blood tests. I was all the time very aware of like my health comes first. So I need to be sure that what I'm doing is not affecting or is like playing against what I'm doing. I have to say that the chemos, the first 4 chemos were hard in terms of they really attacked the blood cells, the white, the red, and then I was anemic for a big part of the time. But the approach of doing fasting before and after chemo was protecting my body. I never threw up. I never had nausea. I was tired, but because I was anemic. But after the first day of the chemotherapy, I was having a pretty normal week. I was doing errands. I was going for walks. I was meeting my friends for a drink, for a tea. I was not drinking alcohol, but I had a pretty kind of normal lifestyle during that time, except the fatigue. And then for the weekly round of chemotherapy, I couldn't fast, like, because I will need to fast like for 10 weeks, which is absolutely impossible. But there's also a restricted calorie intake before the chemotherapies that also protected my body. So I'm deeply grateful that I could apply that. I took a lot of natural supplements, a lot of healing mushrooms, a lot of vitamins. I chose to do it this way, and I refused to take more pharmaceutical drugs besides the chemotherapy. I tried at the beginning and my body didn't took it well. I usually don't take a lot of pharmaceutical drugs unless it's strictly necessary. If I have an infection, of course, I'm going to take antibiotics. But I didn't want to put into my body steroids, antihistaminic, and all the things that they normally give you. And yeah, the results were amazing.
That's great. So, what there would be a particular time where you will be thinking that, I want to give up. There must have time because it can be painful. And yeah, always you cannot be, it's hard to be stay positive. So what were the methods that keep you motivated?
I think the thing that kept me motivated was the fact that I needed to share what I was going through. When I went public, that was about, I think, when I did my first chemo, just before or after my first chemo, then I share everything. And then I start receiving messages of other people. And that was such a big source of motivation for me to keep going and to keep doing things in a different approach. My doctors at the beginning told me, "You're crazy. You cannot go to chemo without eating those previous days." And I'm like, for everything that I read, it's crazy to eat before going to chemo. So that really, and the fact that I was getting good results and every chemo was easier than the previous one. And I was like, wait, what? This is not what doctors told me. So that kept me very positive. I think that one of the biggest struggles for me was the moment that I could really see the physical changes into my body in terms of the hair loss. I used to have an amazing, beautiful, long hair, and that was really part of my identity. And most of the people say, "Oh, don't you worry, it grows again, it's temporary." And I was telling people, it's not about the hair, it's not about losing it, it's not about growing back. It's about seeing this new person in front of the mirror, or sometimes not recognizing yourself and acknowledging that, yes, you're going through so much transition and changes that it's changing you. And I remember when I went completely bald, I had a lot of emotional stuff that was coming out, and it was very, very hard to cope. I had to go have very, very amazing support system with my friends and family, and they really helped me to go through that. But it's hard because nobody's going through that, so they don't understand. And for me, the hardest part was that they will like sometimes simplify some stuff that may look very simple in the outside, but when you're going through all of that and you add the fact that you don't know if the treatment is going to work, you really wish and you keep positive, but at the end of the day, you don't know. It may work, it may not. So you have to really like make peace with that and hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah, it's all the faith that you hold in yourself that actually works. So, what were the like lifestyle changes that you had during the cancer journey, like cancer treatment, and also after the cancer treatment?
Okay. So I was already a very healthy person, and I really thought that I was as healthy as I could be. And then cancer arrived, and I'm like, wait, what? um, the first thing I remember the first 2 months, it was like all in my life was like, I need to be the healthiest, I need to eat the healthiest, I need to do this, I need to do that. And my life completely switched towards the cancer. And then I realized, wait, no, that's not healthy. My life cannot become the cancer. The cancer is a part of my life. I'm going to integrate it. And you need to jungle a lot of stuff because there's like medical appointments and there is like a lot of, you need to accommodate your life with the treatment. But I was also telling, okay, I kind of divide my appointments and I was like, okay, everything in red is like doctor and like medical Western approach. And then I have like a lot of green and I have my therapies and I have massages sometime and I have my walks in nature and I have like time on my own connecting. So I was literally putting a lot of extra care into my body and into my emotional state, I guess. Before, I was not that conscious of that need. And regarding sport, I love sports, like, and I love high intensity sport. And during my whole treatment, I did mostly just the hardest thing was like trekking, but I was trying to be as conscious as possible. And I never stopped doing restorative yoga. That was, I think, the thing that kept my body going. Those hormones, those biochemicals, when you do exercise, they are the best thing you can keep doing for your body to feel a bit normal during the transition and during all the side effects. And after the cancer, what changed? I think the conscious that I got regarding my emotional, physical health, it's completely switched. And I will say the most important thing, self-love. I have never loved myself as I did last year. That was crazy, the fact that I will think that my hair was the thing that was making me beautiful. And then no more hair. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, wait, I'm just beautiful the way I am. And it sounds such a cliche, but I was really falling in love every single day with that body that had cancer, because I'm like, I never used the word fight, because for me it didn't make sense to fight my body. I will wake up every morning telling to my body, it's okay, putting my hand over the place where I had cancer and telling it's okay, I'm listening and I'm sending you love, and you don't need to keep sending me the message because I got it. And I'm in charge now. I'm doing everything in my reach to heal you.
I agree with the point that you mentioned. You are beautiful.
Thank you.
So, what were your top three learnings from your cancer journey?
Okay. I think the biggest lesson is life is now. You don't know if you have tomorrow. And most of the people believe, or they go through their life feeling themselves immortal. And I can actually just, I don't know, go on the street and slip into a banana peel or something like that. Like, things happened. And cancer was such a big reminder that like your life is not assured, and live the moment wisely, and live your life in a way that if you die tomorrow, you're not going to have any regrets. That was like biggest lesson ever. Second lesson, self-love. Like, how many times was I complaining about, like, oh my God, I have people. Oh my God, I don't like this thing here. Oh my God, my ass is not that. Like, I was just constantly criticizing my body and undermining the self-love. And then I was like, wait, my body's absolutely perfect. And it took me through all the journey, and I'm still here and I'm getting strong again. So self-love. And the third biggest lesson is you have to do things your way. I think I will call it own your body. Like, make yourself responsible for what's going on with your body. Most of the people, they just go to the doctor and they just like, this is my body, heal it. And they just don't want to hear about the treatment. They want to know. And if you ask most of the cancer patients, they have like a blurry memories from that time. I decided to approach this in a way that I like, it's my body, under my responsibility, who got cancer. So it's my main responsibility to heal myself. And of course, I'm going to go to doctors. Of course, I'm going to go to people who have studied and everything, but it's my main responsibility. So I believe it's owning your process.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what do you think? You said so many pointers that this helped you, self love helped you, and other pointers helped you. So, what, according to you, worked the best during the journey?
Out of those three, I guess owning my body and feeling responsible in terms of I will make choices, being very conscious, and sometimes I will follow protocols and sometimes I wouldn't, because I felt it was not okay for me. And I have talked to a lot of people and they feel like they don't have a choice in their medical kind of approach. Doctors, and I have to change doctors a lot. Like, I stay with my third oncologist. At the beginning, it was like I was dating a oncologist. I was going with this oncologist and with this oncologist and with this oncologist and different surgeons. And there were some that were like so patronizing in terms of like, you have to do this and you have to do that. And like, don't you think? And I'm like, wait, like, it's still my body. yes, I do have a disease. Yes, you do. You went to medical school and like, but it's still my body. So I will say that that was game changing for me. That allowed me to consider things and to feel comfortable by doing a treatment and not just like a treatment was forced into myself.
So, what would be your message for to the cancer patients, caregivers, and the survivors who are listening to you?
I will say cancer, for me, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It is arriving for a reason. So my message will be stop fighting it in terms of like, don't put any anger into it and start transforming that into self-love. Start transforming that into purpose. Start transforming that into healing yourself. I will say change the narrative, own your process, and love yourself as you have like maybe never done before, because you don't know. And when you go through all of that and you get that force inside of you, then you can start sharing it with the world and with your family and with the people surrounding you, because your process is the process of every person that you have next to you.
That was a beautiful message.
Thank you.
So to sum up this long journey of yours, could you please sum up this in just one sentence?
Just one sentence. Um, yes, yes. Cancer, it's a journey of transformation, and the transformation never ends.
Amazing. So, thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful to listen to you, and it was very inspiring. And I'm pretty sure that the people who will be watching and listening to your journey will definitely get motivated and get inspired that if you can, then why can't they fight the cancer in a beautiful way? So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Take care. Bye.